The Ministry of Human Development, Families and Indigenous Peoples Affairs has been closely following the developments of this past week on yet again another reported incident of domestic abuse by opposition leader Patrick Faber. The government of Belize and our special envoy joined the ministry in once more condemning in the strongest terms the intimate partner violence perpetrated against a series of women by him. It is disheartening that yet another complainant has found herself in a position of not wishing to pursue the charges that are based on her report. Too many victims find themselves in this position, whether through self-doubt, fear, criticism, or coercion. This underscores the point that intimate partner violence does not discriminate based on socioeconomic status, education, religious affiliation, sexual orientation, gender, race, or ethnicity. Let us recognize that gender-based violence is not a women's issue. Domestic violence is not a private matter. It is a serious public health and social issue. Domestic violence is a crime. It affects every member of our community, and we all have a role in addressing it. In addition to the physical, emotional, mental health, and financial impacts that victims face, there are also traumatic effects on the children in these families, and if left unaddressed, it continues to perpetuate the cycle of abuse. It is equally unacceptable for victims to be told or to feel that violence in the home is a private matter that should be handled privately. This is part and parcel of the cycle of abuse. As minister with responsibility for the empowerment of women, children, and families, I pledge that my ministry will take to Cabinet a firm request for additional budgetary resources to further strengthen the interventions, safeguards, and public awareness required. Additionally, along with our National Women's Commission and partners, there will be legislative review aimed at filling gaps and putting in the necessary reforms for the response to gender-based violence. In tandem, we will work on securing additional financial resources to provide the support to women, children, and families who are grappling with domestic abuse. With leadership comes the responsibility for setting the example. It therefore goes without saying that we must hold our leaders to a high standard of behavior and accountability. This latest incident of despicable abuse is made even more appalling because it was perpetrated by no less than a member of parliament who is also opposition leader Patrick Faber. In referring to Faber's actions, the opposition chairman publicly declared that this is, and I quote, not once, not twice, 3 times involved from what we know in these situations, close quote. In December 2019, the United Democratic Party, whose deputy leader was Mr. Faber, issued a statement strongly condemning, open quote, any act of violence against women and girls and any threat of such violence, whether done in private or in a public space, close quote. The UDP further stated, I quote again, there should be no place in our country for this kind of reprehensible behavior to find succor, and there certainly is no place within our party for this type of conduct, close quote. In closing, ladies and gentlemen, I reiterate that in holding our public officials and elected leaders to the expected high standards and accountability, we signal the demand of all Belizeans for zero tolerance of domestic violence and for proper and upright conduct. For the full realization of women's safety and security, our rights and our empowerment, it is no longer enough to simply condemn. I say therefore very strongly that the only honorable thing for the opposition leader Patrick Faber to do is to resign.